Iran agreed this weekend, as it did back in October, with Russia to offload roughly 2,600 pounds of low-enriched uranium, saying it's a deal, and they're moving on. The U.S. says, not so fast, it may not mean a thing. We're back with the panel about Iran. Tucker, this seems like a daily occurrence. Iran says once the process starts, they say, oh, we've got a deal now. But
I think this marks the total collapse of our nuclear policy with Iran. And ironically, it's not Russia or China that killed it. It's Brazil and Turkey. Iran will retain more than half of its uranium, and it declared today it will enrich it up to 20%. It continues to enrich uranium, as the French Foreign Ministry said today. This has no effect whatsoever on stopping Iran's nuclear program. But the most dismay, and of course what it's going to do, it's going to stop any sanctions. The Russians are going to hold out, the Chinese are going to hold out. It will give Iran another year and a half after the Obama administration has already wasted a year and a half. So this is a disaster for our stopping Iran on nukes, but it's worse than that. I think this is a collapse of the Obama foreign policy of the last year and a half. There's a picture that we saw today of the leaders of Brazil, our biggest ally in Latin America, and Turkey, the Muslim anchor of NATO, our most important anchor in the Mediterranean area,
here you see it here.
Holding hands triumphantly with the most anti-American leader in the world. Now, that is a picture that is absolutely astonishing. What it tells you is that American allies have watched this administration in action over a year and a half and decided that there is no profit in being an ally of this administration. After all the apologies, the excuses, the appeasement, they watch Russia exert its influence over Eastern Europe, over Ukraine, over Georgia. They watch the administration appease Iran fruitlessly, being insulted time and again and returning as if nothing had happened. It watches our appeasement of Syria, the sending of an ambassador to Syria, that's re-exerting its influence over Lebanon and supplying Hezbollah with Scuds. And it watches, Brazil is watching in Latin America as Hugo Chavez organizes anti-American coalitions, and then in Honduras, where a Chavez ally reaches to become a dictator, and the U.S. supports him against the rest of the country. All of that, and they look around and say that there is no profit in being an ally of the United States. We're going to realign ourselves, and there's no danger in raising hands of the Iranian leader and being on the other side. This is not just America in decline. This is America in retreat. The world is seeing it and acting rationally accordingly.
So does this day speed up the process for Israel?
I think this is a message to Israel that any attempt to stop Iran before it goes nuclear will not succeed, and ultimately it's going to have to decide on its own if it's going to allow a genocidal regime dedicated to Israel's extermination to acquire the means of genocide. I think the answer is Israel will not allow it.
Quick answer.